I went for a CAT scan. I had to pay. Nobody found out there was nothing there. There still isn't anything there. But I went for a CAT scan, which cost me, by the way, $8,000 for one CAT scan at Baptist, which I am not paying. But I went in there, and the guy who did the doctor, it was a doctor, it was not a tech. The doctor who did the CAT scan said had rosacea. And rosacea, if you're not familiar with it, is like eczema, psoriasis, a very nasty little reddening of the face. And usually people who have that have psoriasis, those type of skin problems. And there are lots of reasons for it, and I'm not a doctor and can't give you all the reasons for it, but he said, is there anything you can give me? Because he was on medication all the time and had been on medication for years and years and years. So I said, well, I don't know, let me try. So I got into my books, and one book says one thing, and one book says another, and one says another, and you have to go through about 30 books before you find enough of them that actually say the same thing to make sense. And I started putting together products for him. I ground up herbs that I thought would work very well, and I mixed them with bases that I thought would work well, and I made a poultice, which he puts on his face at night and kind of does a little scrub for a few minutes, lets it for a few minutes. He has a skin oil that he uses in the daytime, and he has a tea, which treats the inside, along with the things that are treating the outside. And I waited. I sent it to him, and I waited, and had to be about 5 weeks later, he emailed me and said, doing good. He has backed off the medication. His face is entirely cleared up. He has a little bit of eczema on one, or psoriasis on one hand, but the other hand is entirely cleared up, and he's doing much, much, much better. And all that comes from just reading and learning about the same things that we use for medicine entirely up until about 60 years ago, when we decided that we were too smart to use those herbs anymore. So what I've learned more than anything is that all this stuff is just old stuff. We all knew it, and we just forgot it, or we chose to not use it anymore. And our medical profession has decided that it's not important anymore. And if you notice, they're starting to change. They're starting to learn. They're getting more and more doctors going to things like this to learn more things about stuff they should have done. Years and years and years ago, it was required for doctors to take classes about herbs, and it will be again, I hope. So that's how I got started making custom things. So now I do that, like for instance, my daughter, I make some teas for her, but my daughter is allergic to ragweed. And it took me about a month to figure out that she'd wake up, finally she says, I don't understand. I've been itching a lot in the middle of the night. So I make the tea without the chamomile because she's allergic to ragweed, and chamomile is in the ragweed family, like echinacea. So you learn, and sometimes I have mistakes. My husband, by the way, is a phenomenal guinea pig. That's right. Everything on him. He just walks out and, oh my God, that's right. However, he was the one who finally tried my muscle salve, and he did it on the side because he just thought, when I started doing this, it was like, okay, that's nice. That's good. I'm glad to have a height. And unbeknownst to me, he has a real bad knee, and he started using that muscle salve without telling me. And must have been a few days later, he came back and said, this stuff works. And he uses it every day. And it's nothing phenomenal. I tell people, this is no miracle stuff. It's just learning. And that's something that I would love to be able to call myself an herbalist, but that'll probably be about another 50 years before I have the right to do that, because there's so much to learn. So, on that note, I didn't create any great, I guess what I wanted to actually say is that your tea, most of them, particularly green teas, have, right now, they've actually documented the fact that it has more antioxidants in it than fruits and vegetables. And if you try to work on infusing your life with herbs any way that you can, whether it's on your skin or inside your body or on your hair, you're going to live longer, you're going to feel better, you're going to sleep better, your kids are going to focus more, you're going to have healthier bones, you're going to have less stress, which means less heartburn, you're going to have better teeth, better skin. It's just endless. The list is endless. I have been compiling articles in the last month that I've been putting on my website. The last one was the AARP for, I think, March and April, that basically said that if you are a woman and you are over, I think it was 50, and you drink 2 to 3 cups of tea a day, your bone density is so much better. It's something like 20%, I think it was. I don't have it in front of me. Better if you drink 2 to 3 cups of tea a day. And you keep reading this stuff, you know. I mean, today I picked up again, I got the AARP, and it said, put lemon around the house and you won't have ants. And I go, maybe I'll tell you that. I know that. Okay? So that's basically, you know, I mean, again, that's all this is very simple. It's just learning. But it is a lot of learning, a lot of studying, because herbs can be dangerous. You have to know what you're doing. And you can't tell people just to put some of that stuff in there. That's good, you know. You can't do that. Pregnant people, it's really difficult to try to find anything for pregnant women, and I work on that. But I mean, like I had a lady who really had, she's a hormone, she has headaches. So I started working on it. But you know, one book said, oh no, you couldn't use feverfew, and the other book said, oh, you shouldn't use it, but didn't say why. And the other one said, well, they don't recommend it, but didn't say why. One book actually said it strengthened the womb of the mother, so go ahead. So, you know, it's like the rosacea. 200 years ago, it wasn't called rosacea. It was called that red stuff on your face. So, I mean, you really have to spend a lot of time really researching. And basically, that's what I'm doing. So I'm in a learning process. So what I thought I would do for you tonight is to go through one of my recipes. This is, I call this immunity. I have a veterinarian who's addicted to this. Okay? He buys, I can't tell you how much of this stuff. He used to get sick all the time, and he calls me when he gets down to the bottom of the bag, he calls me in a panic. Okay? So that's really good. He's a steady customer, he just loves it. He thinks it's a really good tea. So we're going to start this with the all-time favorite, which is ginseng. Lots of things about ginseng is that you learn and you don't learn, and some that's good, it's not good. No, that's studies say it's great, studies say it's not great. Okay. Ginseng has been used for over 5,000 years, and you will find many of the herbs come from old China, and have been used for many years. Ginseng. Oh, this tea, by the way, with these ingredients, what I have compiled for these ingredients is 65 pages of information. And this is just one of my databases that I use. So I'm not going to read all this stuff to you tonight, but I'm just going to go through it a little bit. Ginseng helps with hot flashes. It helps your body cope with stress. It helps if your sugar levels drop too low or your blood pressure goes too high. It's an adaptogen, so it brings your levels back to normal. So it levels things for you. It lowers cholesterol, it improves your circulation, and it prevents heart disease. And I can say that with surety. It increases your energy and stamina. It may inhibit the growth of cancerous tumors. They've done many studies on it. It's an aphrodisiac. And it lowers your blood sugar after eating. So it's really good for diabetics when their blood sugar spikes when they finish eating. That's ginseng. This is 2 to 3-year-old ginseng root. And I didn't bring my gloves tonight, so you guys saw me chopping this up with a pair of scissors. But these little guys in here, what you're looking at represents probably about $80 worth. Okay, ginseng is really expensive, but it's the ginseng that's the real ginseng. I mean, it's not the stuff you buy in the store. And I have to say, you really need to pay attention to what you're buying in the store, because a lot of it, as he will tell you, none of this is regulated by the government, so anybody can put anything in anything, you know. The craze over St. John's wort, everybody ran out and said, oh my God, I'm going to take St. John's wort because I'm depressed, and it's really good for depression. But what it doesn't say on the bottle is St. John's wort interferes with cancer drugs, it interferes with HIV drugs, and it interferes with birth control. Yay. So they really should tell you that stuff, but they don't, because they don't have to. They do themselves.